Sewing is a journey that we're all on, and it's a fun journey. And in 2026, I've chosen 5 skills or things that I want to improve in my sewing life. Hi there, I'm Christine the Gemini Stitcher and welcome to my sewing space. I've been sewing for over 40 years and I'm still learning. Things change, new products come on the market, the way that we do things become easier or more skilled, and I love the learning process that's involved in sewing. Instead of just doing the same old, I want to push my boundaries in 2026 and come out the other end with 5 things that I can say, I learned that, I've mastered it, and I've done it. So what 5 things have I chosen? I've written them down in my trusty notepad so that I don't forget, because by the time I get to number 3, my head will have emptied. So I've written them all down, and number 1 on my list has been on my list for the longest time, and it's to fully master my overlocker. Shame on me. For 2 years now, I've been saying I'm going to do this, and I've still not. So 2026 is going to be the year that I master my overlocker, use it to its fullest. But don't just use it for overlocking and making jersey garments. It does an awful lot more than that, and I need to get to grips with it. I have a Baby Lock Victory, so it's the bottom of their air threading range. Now, I have overlocked, I have recently mastered how to do a lettuce hem, get me. So that prompted me to think I need to get to grips with this. When I bought my overlocker, I got the whole set of fancy feet with it, and I've shown you them before, but I'll show you them again. So these are the feet that I got with my overlocker, all nice and bonny in this box, never been used. Shameful. Now, granted, some of them I may not use very often, but I need to know how to use them, don't I? It comes with a trusty little booklet, so I'm hoping, which I've never read through, so I'm going to read through that booklet. And how many feet have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means that over the year, every 8 to 10 weeks, I've got to have mastered one of these feet, and my aim is to have actually used it in a creation, not necessarily a garment, but something that I've made. So no pressure there. I also know that Baby Lock do run a course on mastering your overlocker, and I've hummed and hawed about it for quite a while, and I'm going to look at the dates this year and get myself booked on and do that overlocking course. Then I'll have no excuses, I'll know how to use my overlocker, and I'll feel great at the end of the year because of it. Challenge number 2, because they are challenges, aren't they, when you know that, you're going to struggle to do them, is to master zero waste sewing. It's something I've never done. I bought the gift of a zero waste sewing book for Christmas. I'll pop an image of it up here because I put it away somewhere and I don't know where it is. I need to dig that out. And I'm going to go through that book and I'm going to create the garments that are in it, and then we'll have a look at whether I think zero waste sewing actually works for me. I'm trying to sit on the fence, but my head's telling me big, frumpy clothes that use fabric that you don't really need to use. But I'm going to go through the book and hopefully prove myself wrong at the end of it. Challenge number 3 is to fully master the things that my sewing machine will do. Now, I'm lucky I purchased a Faff Creative icon, a reconditioned one, but still an item to buy. I love using it for embroidery, but on the sewing side of it, it's got hundreds of decorative stitches, and I'm sure loads of other stuff that it will do that I'm not using it for. And there's a company called Creative Mastery. It's the one I did my embroidery course with online, and they have over 100, I think it's about 150 videos all about using the Faff Creative icon. So I'm pledging in 2026 to go through every single one of those videos and tick them off when I'm happy that I understand them. So that might mean that I'm again incorporating what I've learned into something that I'm going to make that week, and then it will hopefully stick in my head. So that's how I'm going to tackle mastering my sewing machine in 2026. Number 4 on my challenge list is to make a quilt. I know I've made quilts on my sewing machine. I tried to go to a quilt, well, I did go to a quilt class where we were doing a sampler quilt, fell out of love with that one. But I do want to master making my own quilt from scratch. And when I go to Festival of Quilts every year, I'm in awe of the ones that are on display. I'm never going to be at that level, let's get real. So I always go and I gravitate towards a company called Love from Beth. And I always love the quilt that they have always on display, and it's their Hexy Cali quilt. I'll put an image of it up here. I'm sure I've shown it before in the past and said I need this quilt kit in my life. Well, the good news is 2026 is going to be the year that I commit to that quilt. Now, it is still available. They did do it as a monthly sew along, and you bought it in 3-month sections. So you can still do it like that, and that's how I'm going to do it, and then I'm not overwhelmed. You can buy the whole kit, but it's not any cheaper than buying it in 3 sections. So I'm going to buy the first section, which is months 1 to 3, and see how I get on, and then I've not wasted a load of money on something that is beyond me. It is a complicated quilt, I'm going to admit that, but I like a challenge. I've got the basics of quilting from going to the quilt class, and now I want to take it to the next level, but I'm not at the stage where I can create my own quilts. Steph makes and creates the most amazing quilts just out of her head. I'm not at that level yet. I haven't got that level of confidence, so I think a kit will give me more skills, it'll upskill and help me get to the next level. So I want to make the Hexy Cali quilt. What do you think of it? Do you think I'm capable of doing it? Only time will tell. So I've placed my order for the first 3 months, can't wait for it to arrive, and we'll see if I actually get it finished in 2026. The last thing on my list for this year is to upskill my bag making. I love making a good bag, but there's still lots to learn on what the biggest thing with a bag that makes it work or fail, in my opinion, is the things that you can't see. Your stabilizers, your foams, your interfacings, all those things. I ain't got a Scooby-Doo which ones to use, and I just follow them blindly. So I want to learn more about bag making as a whole, and I thought the way of doing that was to challenge myself to make 12 different bags in 2026. Now I'm also on zero waste in 26, so that fits in nicely with that, because the idea is when I make one of my mini capsules, which I do 1 a month, then I also want to make a matching bag to go with it. So, and each one is going to be a a different bag. So I've done January's. I'm ahead of the game. Here it is. Oh, absolutely loving this bag. It's a Charlie's Aunt bag. I'll pop the name of it below and the link if you want this pattern. But look at that. Some of you might notice some of the fabrics. So this brown here is the pearl pants. The suede is the coubrade skirt. And that pop of mustard in the middle is a stretch fabric that I've stabilised, and it was my slip over by Sew Over It. So the back is the suede, and then on the inside we've even lined it with the fabric that I made my Samara blouse in. So really proud of that, really pleased with it. Learned how to do, I tend to do a bag that's all one colour, so this one was great with all the different pieces, joining them together. And I also learned how to do a two-tone strap, so the back is the suede and then the front is the brown check with a little sneaky peek of suede showing through. I tend to just use webbing for the straps when I make bags. Lazy, I know. So I'm going to try and make my own straps going forward that actually match the bag, and I think it just elevates it that little bit more, and it saves me buying webbing as well. So there's bag number 1 of 2026. What do you think? Do you think I'll be able to do it? I hope so. Some of them I'm going to find a little bit hard. I've got to admit, I've got to allocate time to sit at my sewing machine and sit at my overlocker and accept that I'm not actually producing anything, I'm just learning a skill. So I think the best way to do that is to work with the sewing machine, is to go back to the beginning, start watching all the videos, get to a point where I think a lot of them I'll just re-watch as I'm doing something else. And when I get to a point where I think, oh, hang on, I don't know what I'm doing there, that's where I need to start learning my sewing machine from and just work my way through them. Try and do 1 or 2 of them a week. And then the overlocker, as I've already said, work my way through the feet that I've got. So 1 every other month is perfectly realistic. And also try and get myself booked onto the Baby Lock course. If you've been on the overlocker course at Baby Lock, is it worth going? Because it's quite a distance for me. It's going to involve at least 1 night's stay. I can't go as a day guest. But let me know, do you think it's worth me going and investing the time? It's not about the money, it's about the time with me to learn it at Baby Lock. I'm sure I'll learn loads that I wouldn't even think of myself. But let me know if you've done the course and if it's worth it. There we go. They're my 5 challenges and upskilling that I want to do in 2026. Have you challenged yourself with anything? Let me know what it is and I might add it to my list and push myself out of my comfort zone this year, because that's what I want to do. I want to learn, I want to upskill, I want to not necessarily make more clothes, because believe you me, my wardrobe is groaning, but the clothes that I make, I want to have either learned a new skill or added those interesting little elements that slow things down. There we go. Do you think I can do it? I hope so. I'm buzzing about it, but we always are at the start of a challenge, aren't we? So let me know what you're doing, and happy sewing. I will see you all next Monday. Bye for now.